were respectful, but the captain said he couldn't guarantee the women's safety and had warned them to remain below deck after dark. Yet, unable to sleep in her stuffy quarters, Grace had craved the fresh sea air and had dared to risk coming up alone. Bracing herself, she faced the uniformed man. "My husband wouldn't appreciate you talking to me that way, sir. Kindly leave me alone." She turned back to the water, hoping her quaking knees would not betray her.
"Husband, eh? What kind of man would allow his lovely wife to run around on a ship full of soldiers, alone?"
A heavy hand landed on her shoulder. She jerked and attempted to step away, but the man pulled her closer. His breath reeked of spirits and tobacco. His jawline was covered in several days' growth of beard that didn't hide the angry red scar marring his face. Her heart thumped hard against her ribs. Why hadn't she worn her hat, instead of tying a kerchief around her hair? At least then she'd have a hat pin to use as a weapon.
"If you value your hand, you'd best remove it from the lady. Now."
Another masculine voice issued the challenge from behind her. The soldier whirled around, scowling.
"Mind your own business, pal. My lady friend and I are looking for some privacy, if you get my drift."
Grace turned to see a tall man, dressed in a fedora and trench coat, standing perfectly still. His dark brows were drawn together in a frown, and a pulse ticked in his clean-shaven jaw.
"I highly doubt that, since the lady is my wife."
His gaze never wavered. Grace fought to keep her jaw from dropping. The soldier's eyes narrowed.
"If you're her husband, why haven't I seen you together? I've been watching her since we boarded yesterday, and she's been alone the whole time."
Grace's heart thudded. "Since we boarded?" She gripped the lapels of her coat together. The stranger didn't blink.
"I've been in our cabin, feeling a bit under the weather, but I've got my strength back now."
He took an intimidating step closer.
"I suggest you return to the other soldiers where you belong. And don't think about bothering any of the other women on board."
Another step brought him within striking distance. He towered over the man.
"Do I make myself clear?"
The soldier regarded him for a few seconds, as though deciding whether or not to engage in a fight, then spat a stream of brown tobacco juice onto the deck.
"Can't blame a guy for trying."
With a humorless laugh, he stuffed his hands in his pockets and strolled away. The stranger moved to Grace's side, not taking his focus off the soldier until he was out of sight. Then he turned his attention to her.
"Are you all right, miss?"
"Yes, thank you." She released a breath and allowed her stomach muscles to relax. "I appreciate your help." Up close, the man's eyes radiated compassion and kindness. "Thank you, Lord, for sending a protector."
"It's the least I could do for my wife," he chuckled.
Grace hoped he couldn't see the heat in her cheeks.
"My name's Quentin Aspinall. It appears we'll be traveling companions."
"Grace Abernathy." She pulled her collar up around her neck. "I probably shouldn't have come here alone, but I had to get out of the cabin. I was going stir-crazy, not to mention that my roommate snores rather loudly."
"That's why I'm out here as well. And—"
"Quentin," a female voice said, "is everything all right?" For the first time, Grace noticed a young woman standing in the shadows. She came toward them, her brow furrowed. As she drew nearer, Grace was awed by her beauty. Flawless skin, ebony hair, and striking blue eyes. Unlike Grace in her sensible gray coat, this girl was the height of fashion, dressed in a matching red cape and feathered hat.
"Everything's fine, Emmeline."
Grace frowned at the man. "You left your wife? To help me?" "Oh, he's not my husband." The girl trilled a perfect laugh. "We met yesterday on the ship." She strolled over to them. "My traveling companion hasn't found his sea legs yet. So, when Quentin saw me up here alone, he gallantly offered to serve as my protector until Jonathan rallies." Grace did her best not to gape. This girl was traveling with a male companion?